Today, we're going to tackle a massive question. How do you actually navigate this huge societal shift being driven by AI? We've pulled together some incredible insights from former Google ex-executive Mo Gaudat to build a practical, personal guide for you. So let's get right into it. Now, that quote from Gaudat isn't just some scary headline. Think of it more like a wake-up call. This isn't about a distant future anymore. The changes are happening as we speak, which means the time to get ready is right now, today. So, what exactly are we getting ready for? So first up, we have to understand the disruption itself. You see, the fundamental ways we work, we innovate, how we even plan our careers, it's all being rewritten. The old playbook? It's basically obsolete. This is a brand new game, and it comes with a completely new set of rules. And Mo Gaudat has this fantastic analogy for it. He says, for the longest time, our careers were like a game of chess. Slow, strategic moves, planning for a future that's way down the road. Well, that game is over. Now, he says, we're all playing squash. It is incredibly fast, you have to be agile, and you have to be ready to react and pivot literally on a daily basis. And listen, this is not just a theory. Get this, a 23% drop in the hiring of new graduates in a single year. And why? Because a ton of those entry-level junior tasks are already being automated by AI. The disruption isn't coming, it's already here. And that's exactly why we need to talk about how to transition.
Okay, so that brings us to our next section, a world redefined by AI. To really get why a personal transition plan is so critical, you have to appreciate the sheer scale of what's happening. This isn't just about our jobs. AI is on track to redefine the very fabric of our lives. To help us wrap our heads around this, Gaudat uses this framework. It's about how AI is going to shift who has freedom and power, how it's going to blur the lines between what's real and what's not, affecting our connections with each other, how it could totally reshape innovation in our economies, and maybe the biggest one, accountability. When anyone can build these powerful tools, who's responsible? The point is, the scope of this change is just enormous. But here's the flip side. With this enormous change comes an equally enormous opportunity. So let me just pose a question. What if a really complex startup, the kind that used to take 4 years and a whole army of 350 engineers to get off the ground, what if that could now be built in just 6 weeks by a tiny team? This is a real example from Gaudat's own experience. Now, see, that isn't a threat. That's power being handed to everyone. It means that you, me, anyone with a good idea now has a very real shot at building something that could actually change the world. All right, we get the urgency, we get the scale. So now we get to the core of this whole guide, your 4-point transition plan. This is the practical, actionable stuff, your personal playbook for how to thrive in this new era. Gaudat boils it all down to these 4 essential skills. Seriously, think of this as your new curriculum for the future. So let's break down each one. Number 1, master AI as a tool. And this is key. It's not about just using AI, it's about partnering with it. Remember the scientific calculator? It didn't make mathematicians worse. It freed them up from the boring stuff so they could solve bigger, more interesting problems. That's the mindset. Use AI to augment your own intelligence, not to outsource it. Second, develop radical agility. Right, this is that squash mindset we were just talking about. And Gaudat gives this super concrete advice. Spend at least 1 hour every single week just learning about what's new with AI in your specific field. Because the cost of trying out a new idea, it's crashing down to basically zero. You have to be ready to respond. Third, and this one is so important, make ethics your compass. Look, the most powerful tools in human history are now available to pretty much everyone. That comes with a massive responsibility. The people who are really going to succeed in this new world are the ones who choose to build things that are genuinely good for humanity. And that brings us to the 4th and final skill. And man, this one hits home for a lot of us. In a world that is already flooded with junk online, how in the world do you find what's true when almost anything can be generated by an AI? Gaudat's strategy is brilliant because it's so simple. He says you pit them against each other. You never, ever just take one AI's word for it. And here's his actual workflow, which is just a perfect example. He might start a question with, say, Gemini to get a very scientific, data-driven answer. Then he'll copy that answer, take it over to another AI like DeepSeek, and ask, what's wrong with this? What's missing? Just to uncover biases. Then he might take that refined answer to ChatGPT to polish the language. And each time he does this, his understanding gets deeper, and his next question gets even smarter. It's a system for thinking.
Okay, so you've got your personal playbook. For our final section, let's just zoom out because this isn't just about your individual success, it's about the role we all have in shaping where this technology goes. Gaudat has this idea he calls the fourth inevitable. The basic concept is, because of competition, if a superior AI can be built, it will be built and it will be used. And he believes the endpoint of that process is a world where AI becomes the operating system for a lot of our big, complex systems, everything from logistics to law. He thinks we're looking at about 12 years of really intense disruption ahead, a kind of temporary dystopia with economic chaos and arms races. But, and this is the hopeful part, he believes that if we can navigate that period with wisdom, what's on the other side is a potential utopia, an era where AI helps us solve our biggest problems, always looking for the least harmful, most efficient solution. Our choices, right now, determine which path we end up on.
So it all comes down to this. The most powerful tool in the history of our species is no longer locked away in some lab. It's here. It's in your hands. It's in all of our hands. So the only real question left is the one right here on the screen. What are you going to build with it?